at 7 p.m. on March 3rd, 2025. We'll start out with some consent agenda items that include the minutes of the February 17th school board meeting, as well as, let's see if I've got numbers here. Now, just consent agenda item, we've got some personnel additions also. Does anyone need to pull any of these consent agenda items out to be handled individually? If not, I would look for a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
I can do that.
And I can second.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Chapman. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 4-0 unanimously. We also have some personnel items unnecessary for vote. So, public comments. Do we have any public comments this evening?
No, we have not received any.
Okay. Move on to McFarland High School student report. Do we have anybody in the house?
Well, maybe they'll bop in.
Possible.
Okay.
It appears as though we may not have anyone handy to give us that student report. So in that case, we'll move to our informational items. The first being Business and Education Partnership Meeting Update. Turnitzer and Chapman presenting. Take it away.
Do you want me to go first?
You go.
Okay, awesome. So the Business and Education Partnership meeting, we all met as a group last week, and I'll just kind of give you a quick rundown of everything we chatted about. So first off, we had students from DECA and Skills USA come in and chat with us, and we also had a couple of students talk about our family, and I always say this wrong, family consumer, what is like the family consumer?
Sciences.
Thank you. They came in and brought food and talked a little about what they were doing.
He's a smart one.
It's like
I
the
know.
pyramid. We were playing pyramid.
I know, right? So then we got into the DECA situation, and they just went through a really lovely rundown of all of the community events like Move a Muscle, Young Entrepreneurs, the REAP Goes Pink with our hockey team, obviously the Craft and Vendor Fair, which is obviously always really successful, and then Superhero Training Camp, which went over really well. They were super jazzed about it and said the kids and the parents were really involved, so that was great. But then the big thing we all got to learn more about was the DECA state competition that was held in Lake Geneva. I'm sorry, first let's talk about districts. We had 54 competitors at the district, which was held at the Forest High School. I was actually able to judge some of the freshmen, and they were pretty awesome. But out of the 54 competitors from McFarland, we had 16 exam medalists, 24 role play medalists, 5 automatic qualifiers, 10 honorable mentions, and then 19 of the 54 competitors made it to state. So state was just last week actually, McFarland did fantastic. If you follow any of our social media pages, it was all over there. But I do believe that we have 2 to 4 people going to the international competition, which is being held in Orlando in April. We had a ton of medalists, though, so if you want to see more about who won, please go to our social media pages and check it out. Ginger, who is the DECA advisor, did an amazing job, and it's great to see so many of our kids doing so well.
That's amazing.
So then getting into the Skills USA update, they had their districts in Oregon and then their regionals in Platteville. They didn't get too much in detail about it, just because out of everyone in Skills USA, I think we have approximately 20 kids that are involved with it, but it's continuing to grow year after year, which is pretty fantastic. And then after Platteville, there will be a state competition being held at the Alliant Energy Center, which is really cool if anyone wants to check it out. So another great thing that the BEP put together is the Student Employee Excellence Award. So every month, the BEP chooses one student to be recognized, and they are actually nominated by their employer. So this is not a youth apprenticeship achievement. This is a student employee. So thus far, we've had 4 students win it. In November, it was Tyler Brockhoff. In December, it was Aubrey Berg. January, Kendall Riemann, I'm sure I'm saying Riemann, thank you. And then just this last month was Trent Bremer. So what BEP does is we all come in and we surprise the student at lunch with their family and their employer, and they get a big check, and it's a pretty fun situation. So we have a question.
I was just wondering, what is BEP?
Oh, Business and Education Partnership. Sorry about that. I said it pretty quick. So then getting more into the career and technology aspect of it, we had our Career Expo and Advising Night on Tuesday, December 17th, and I know we've talked about that a little bit, but the great one we actually had was our Advising Night, which was just last month on Wednesday the 5th, and we had 60 exhibitors talking about college and post-high school career. So it was open during the day so students could come in, and actually some of the Skills USA students actually helped bring that all together. So then looking forward as to what we have going on Tuesday, March 18th, we have our Reality Zone. Then we also have on Thursday, May 22nd and Friday, May 23rd, we're going to have our senior exit interviews. So that's all the cool stuff happening at the high school. Now switching gears to IMMS.
What was the date on the exit interviews?
May 22nd and May 23rd.
Thank you.
Yep, and they're looking for volunteers for both Reality Zone and Senior Exit Interview.
Awesome. So getting into Indian Mound, we are going to do a real world day on Thursday, May 1st, where we're going to have presenters coming in and just chatting about what they do for careers and whatnot. We are still working on getting some of those presenters organized. So if you would like to get more involved, obviously Fred Bartman, I believe, is going to be spearheading that, as well as our mentor program. So the mentor program is to provide a support system to students who are not engaged in their education and really help to promote their strengths and also develop some of their weaknesses. So with that being said, Fred Bartman is also going to be that contact, and so if people are interested, please feel free to reach out to him. We are looking at more towards that 6th and 7th grade level, but like I said, we always need more mentors for our kiddos, so please get involved if you would like. Then looking at fundraising that's going on at the high school, they're looking at possibly putting up announcement screens throughout the building, doing some collaborations between our CTE courses and special education, which I think is fantastic. We're looking at changing some of our branding, as well as putting together some other fundraising options for Indian Mound with web shirts. So for those 8th graders, they're going to help some of those incoming 6th graders will all have the same t-shirts, so updating that, as well as trying to do some fundraising for the ski and snowboard club for Indian Mound, just because that can be a very costly activity to be involved in. Then we just talked more about some of the business-led opportunities that are going on within the school district, like Winter Wonderland in the village. We're still maintaining those spotlight coffees, bands by the boardwalk, which were obviously really, really successful, and then the golf outing we'll be having here. I believe that golf outing is this summer.
Yeah, it's around August. July.
And then we just did some brainstorming on some other ideas for future-led programs like Careers on Wheels, and then really trying to partner with the elementary schools as well as Indian Mound. Did I do it? Did I do it in 5 minutes?
Anybody in for the branding?
We are looking at trying to really focus on McFarland area businesses to help with that. Anytime you do any kind of rebranding strategy, it can be a little costly. So that's why
Right.
we're looking at sponsorships and other fundraising avenues to help alleviate some of those costs.
I think you did an amazing job.
Thank you. I just rattled through.
You rattled very well.
Very comprehensive.
Thank you.
Thanks for informing us. And I do have one question.
Yeah.
I mean, what's Career on Wheels? I know, what are they thinking about with that?
That's a great, Aaron, you can probably shed some better light on it than I can.
Was that with the kind of the Spartan Cafe idea? Or
No,
what?
that was different. I think Career on Wheels is where we tried to do like mobile career, like hands-on, I believe.
Gosh, I don't remember that. at all.
I know we talked about it like super, super quick
I
because
could
it was
fake it.
towards the end. And what we actually ended up doing at the end of our meeting is myself and some other business leaders in
Oh,
McFarland actually
yeah.
went and helped some of the DECA students do some presentations.
honestly
And so I
don't
think we
remember.
cut that short a little bit. But I'll find out for you.
Okay.
And I'll get back to you
Yeah, I
at our next meeting.
apologize. And I
Yeah.
had to head off to another meeting
Yeah.
too, so maybe I was on my way out.
Yeah,
when that
it was a
happened.
very like end of the meeting and then people kind of scattered to go do DECA stuff. So,
I will share an interesting fact about the mentor program at the middle school. They have 20 mentors, which,
Wow.
you know, it started off with a handful. And they're hoping to bring on 10 to 15 more to get 30 to 35 mentors. So,
They have a need for that many?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, but just thought that's impressive that it's already up to 20
Fred does
Yeah.
a remarkable job.
Mm-hmm.
He does.
mentors.
Any other questions, comments? Or you guys, does that complete your update?
I tried to fill as much info as I could in my
Thank you.
allotted time.
You did very well,
And
by
we
the way.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
We've a monthly board report.
Sure, this
Tom
is,
Mooney.
this is the, from the February board meeting. Enrollment, elementary enrollment is increasing at a faster rate than middle school or high school enrollment. These are interesting facts. There has been a 5% increase in expenditures, but a 7% increase in funding due to enrollment, and that was similar to what I reported last month.
Nice.
The 25-26 school year has been approved with the 2-week winter break. Staff development has been built into the calendar with 5 flexible days during the summer, which really, I think, enhances the ability of teachers to get together on their time. Through virtual instruction, the state requires 150 days of instruction for virtual schools. WEVA has 170-plus instructional days. So there will be beyond the number of days of instruction.
You said 150
150.
is the minimum.
Mhm. Of course, that is a combination of days and instructional minutes.
Yeah.
They hired a new marketing firm, Finn Partners, and using local media resulted in better enrollment than anticipated for K-12 this past year. They did a family survey, and the family survey showed that socialization is not a significant factor in student retention, contrary to what many of us thought maybe.
Wow.
The family survey indicated that parent satisfaction is at 85%. These are a couple of dates that are coming up. So since I won't be the REVA rep, we probably should note this. May 7th will be in Green Bay with a large event at the Hub, the DCA Connect building. And then May 8th will be the regular spring retreat day. Number of monthly reports were included, including the family advisory. They talked a little about their participation at the Day of the Capitol with the legislators. What WEVA did was that they differentiated the COVID virtual versus the mindsets of what WEVA is actually about. They're requesting full state funding for WEVA students. They're conducting state testing, they're advocating for conducting state testing at locations, environments where students are comfortable, rather than, just a few sites across the state. They talked about the rationale with their legislators for WEVA student learning. They're trying to establish meaningful relationships with their legislators, and I think we're trying to do the same thing. And WEVA has drafted sample letters that parents can send to their legislators. So similar to what we're doing now, but as you can tell, they're actively involved with the politicians. The 8th graders, as part of their civics class, take an annual trip to the Capitol. At that time, they introduced more money of this. The WEVA high school highlight this month was on 4 or 5 students that featured students that want to go into teaching, medical technician, and computer programming, and all the students have dyslexia. So, making those accommodations to help students be successful. And again, the growth goals are on target at this time for students. And that completes the February report.
Any questions, comments? What is their enrollment looking at 4,000
No,
something?
it's more than that. I think it's,
Yeah, it's
Closer to
more than that, but
5,000.
I don't know where they're at now.
yeah.
It's remarkable considering 5-ish years ago, they were probably at 2,000, weren't they,
When?
before COVID?
I don't know, that's,
That I don't know.
It seems to
before
me,
my time.
It's grown a lot, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
But they anticipate a 10% increase each year. But that does not include students that withdraw from WEVA.
Right.
Oh.
So their retention rate is higher, and their new enrollment rate is higher than those that do not come back to WEVA.
okay.
Yeah, they
Um,
were, I think they ended the year at 4,400.
That
That sound right
sounds
last
right,
year,
Aaron.
so, yeah, I think they're projecting
Sounds familiar.
5,000.
Yep.
The largest virtual school in the state of
Yep.
Wisconsin.
Yep. Anybody else?
Yeah, well, I just would say, Tom, you do an exceptional job, so.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Sure.
We are going to move our Citizens Advisory Facilities Naming Committee recommendation and discussion to the next school board meeting on the 17th.
Yeah, and I'll explain a little bit about that. The group was hoping to be able to present a recommendation to you tonight. They do not have a recommendation ready. They're still spending time gathering information. And we've had 4 meetings, and that's what we were projected to have. And the group unanimously felt they needed some more time to do that work. So we're hoping to be able to present at the next board meeting, but we also are not rushing the process. It's too important, but
If anybody out there happened to see the front page of the State Journal this morning, there was a big article about the renaming of schools in Madison School District. And coincidentally enough, one of the 2 in Madison is their Alpheum school. The second being Lindbergh.
Lindbergh, yeah,
But they can do two a year.
yeah,
And those are the 2 that they're going to address this year.
yeah. And there's I guess a presentation that you can see at Belleville Public Library. It was at Monona Public Library last month, and it is going to be going on at Belleville this month. And so
know
also,
the date,
and
do
related to
you?
that, I think it's pretty much the whole month. It's in the paper, actually, on Sunday's paper in the State Journal.
Okay.
Because there was an article also about these racial covenants. So it'd be well worth people taking the time to look at those things.
Sure.
And I think they're scheduled for our library. Is it a year from May?
It's a year from
Aaron?
now, yeah.
Yeah.
yep. It's called Unjust Deeds.
Oh, that's right.
And it's about racial covenants in Dane County.
Okay, District Administrators Report, Mr. Tarnitzer, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Some great recognitions. First of all, we had the open house at Conrad Alvian Primary School. That happened on the 20th, and I know I ran into Tom there, and it was a great event, so well attended. It's always fun to see the students leading their parents around and showing off their school. Teachers did such a great job. It was so well organized. So special thanks to Jenny Jefferson and Greg Nelson for their leadership and all the teachers that were involved in that. It was just really well done. So I think parents really enjoyed it. This was an experiment that the building leadership team wanted to try to have it a little bit later, open house a little bit later when kids felt a little more comfortable. There was a lot of student work out and visible to show, so really special event and well attended. It's hard to find a parking spot. Yeah. Anything you would add about that, Tom?
Well, you must have read my notes ahead of time, Aaron, but,
Oh,
so we came up with some sort of things. Let me see if I have something. What I observed also was teachers were welcoming back some of their former students.
oh yes.
Yeah, the older students just love coming back to see their former students, and particularly those that have siblings in those homerooms now. And the teachers just love it too. You know, they certainly acknowledge them and appreciate them.
That's really neat.
Parents showed their gratitude for staff at SEPS. Just thank you for, providing this opportunity for us. There were staff at both entryways,
Yes.
giving
Greeting.
parents out family open house piece of paper. The first stop was the classroom, then visit related arts classrooms, and don't forget the other stops along the way, like the gym, the Sensory Path, the office, Spartan Star, et cetera. So, again, as you mentioned, Aaron, very well organized. Let's see. The kids showed their pride and excitement by showing their families around. Yeah, if you can just see these kids, they're full of excitement. And they want to hit every place, of course, in a little time. And again, you identified the parking challenges. That's why I walked the 3 blocks, because I knew parking would be an issue. But again, I just want to express my gratitude for the teaching staff, administration, because this is time above and beyond the school day, and they put a lot of work into it. As
Yes, they
Aaron
did.
talked about all the numerous student work samples. And I do like it being conducted later in the year, so parents can actually come and see.
When had it been
some of the
done?
student work.
When had that been
I
scheduled?
think October,
Oh,
does that
yeah.
sound right?
Yes, recently it's been in October. But years ago, we used to have what we called, when I was up there, Young Authors Workshop. We did that in the spring,
Oh, okay,
back then.
all right, so kind of bringing it back.
Yeah, so we're bringing it back. So, but anyway, there were hundreds of families there. You know, and again, I can't say enough about the teaching staff,
Yes.
administration up there. Yeah, they just put their heart and soul into this.
They really
And I think it
do.
was highly successful.
I do too. They are asking for feedback from those that attended and going to do some problem solving to and improve it even more next year, so.
One suggestion I would have, because sometimes it's hard to get feedback after the fact, maybe just have 2 or 3 staff members, as parents leave the building, just, you know, 2 or 3 simple questions,
Yeah,
you know.
A
because
quick
then
thing.
They probably can get a better return rate that way.
That's a good idea.
yeah,
So I know the parents I talked to were very positive.
yeah, it's very positive, thanks. Other things going on, we've got kindergarten orientation's been happening, so getting ready for that. 4K orientation as well coming up. The orchestra string fling concert, I wasn't able to attend, but that happened since the board met last, so thank you to Leanna Hershey for her leadership there. We had the family fun night at the middle school. I also wasn't able to attend. That was last Thursday, but I heard things went really well.
Very successful, I
Yeah.
think. A lot of people,
Good,
a lot of people.
good. Guarantee there were parking challenges there.
Yes, there were. But that's okay, because people
Yeah.
come and go, so.
Good event. So that, you know, it's nice that we've been having those at the K-8 buildings and getting people out. Want to do a special recognition just of our McFarland Education Foundation. This is a really busy time for them, and I didn't want to wait until May to say thank you for all the scholarship work that they do, because the work is being done now. It is unbelievable what they put together, and reviewing all those essays and making sure kids know to apply. It's just really powerful. We're very lucky.
That process has been cleaned up significantly over the last 5 to 10 years, I would
Okay.
say. And now,
I think so.
you would have a significant percentage of kids just not apply for anything. I don't, if they were unaware, that's unfortunate, and it's our fault, but I think now they put a much greater emphasis on applying for these various scholarships that are out there. There's a ton of them. It's a great, it's a lot of work.
It's a very generous
It's a lot of
community.
work. When that organization, I think the first year, I think we gave out 7 scholarships.
Yeah. that's
And I
about
know
right.
there have been years where it's been over 100.
Yeah.
That's a remarkable group.
Other work, there's been a health insurance subcommittee, a subcommittee of our employee relations committee that's been reviewing our health insurance proposals, which our current plan will end at the end of August. So in September, we'll be starting a new plan. So we've been working on that. We're sharing that with the employee relations committee, the full committee, this Thursday. So excited about that. We've got a couple bids in and a lot of good work there. Thanks to the club advisors and the middle and high school leadership, they've been working on doing our first of an annual process for reassessing non-athletic, non-director co-curriculars, so clubs, basically. and in making sure that they align with the percentage of compensation that people are getting. Because what will happen is a co-curricular will evolve. Sometimes it gets bigger, sometimes it gets smaller, but yet that percentage stays kind of the same. And so sometimes it's adequate, sometimes it's inadequate, sometimes it's more than necessary. And so we're making adjustments to those. So it's been a lot of work. That process continues. Last week was Public Schools Week with a lot of activities throughout the state. Want to give a special shout out to our Angie Bazan. She was chosen. She is one out of 30 educators from across the country who will be attending the Holocaust Educators Workshop. And that means she will be going this summer for 9 days to Poland to learn about the Holocaust and bring that back to share with our students. So quite an honor for her, and just really lucky to have her doing that, and then our students are lucky too.
She's the Energizer Bunny.
She is.
She does a
I don't think
whole
she
lot of stuff.
sleeps.
Yeah. She's very excited about it. She's amazing. I wanted to, just an acknowledgement, we continue our standards-based grading work. We actually have a meeting tomorrow with our 6th through 12th grade administrative team, and Melissa Fohl, our Director of Teaching and Learning. The middle school is doing a survey of their staff, kind of gauging where they're at and what they need to learn next. The high school just had their mid-year administrative team survey, and standards-based grading came up in that too. So doing some information gathering so we can continue to improve and be very strategic about that growth. Wanted to acknowledge our progress on our Grow Your Own program. So currently we have a couple things. So for staff, our special education assistants have an opportunity to have their education paid for to earn their teaching certificate. We also have an agreement with Edgewood College for any staff member with a bachelor's degree can earn their teaching certificate and a master's degree at a reduced rate. But we're looking to expand our work with our students. So this year, we have more students than ever serving as assistants in our schools. Next year, we'll be moving that into the actual youth apprenticeship program.
Oh, wow.
So it will be one of the things they can choose. We have a grant, we call it the vape money, which is money that we received from a lawsuit for vaping products. And so we can use that however we deem necessary. And what we're going to use it for is students involved in the youth apprenticeship program to compensate them for their time assisting
Excellent.
our staff
Excellent.
Awesome.
in pursuit of education. Ultimately, the year after that, so 26, 27, we would like to start a club, an Educators Rising Club. You're hearing more about those around the area.
Good.
And then if that has good numbers, possibly adding a class as a high school course, educator
That's so neat.
course.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
It's really great. Oh, wow.
We're excited. It's kind of coming together. It's one of those things, a someday maybe thing that's starting to become a, hey, this might really happen.
Do we have any initiatives out there that address recruiting and retention of, teachers of color?
Not specific to teachers of color. What we've done is we have looked at our hiring practices to remove barriers for all applicants, to make the process easier and more, to have less barriers for people for applying, regardless of, race, gender, ability, language. And so that's the focus that we've taken with that. The biggest thing you can do in terms of attracting staff is have a reputation as a place where people want to work. And I
Correct.
think that's been our focus with our high retention rate.
That's really wonderful.
Yeah, excited about that. Some things coming up. It's Inclusion Week at the middle school this week. It's also School Social Work Week, so be sure to thank our school social workers for the amazing work that they do, often behind the scenes, working with families when they need them the most. It's also National School Breakfast Week. We certainly have a breakfast program we're very proud of. The numbers just keep going up. It's Parent Guardian Learning Night. Well, it's over tonight. It was from 6 to 7. I was able to go there for the first session. There was literacy, math, school safety, internet safety, social emotional learning. I feel like I got it about all. Assessment overview. So thanks to the staff that volunteered, the students that volunteered to provide childcare, a well-organized first try at an event. And so we're hoping that can become an annual
Was it attended pretty
opportunity.
good?
Yeah, I
Good.
mean, it wasn't like, you could find a spot to park.
Yeah.
And what for the first time, I think they felt it was worthwhile. And what I always remind people is if you have, 6 people attend your session, those 6 people are going to talk to at least 6 people and share.
And I think it's great that they provide childcare.
Yes,
Because that removes one barrier for
yes.
some families.
And many families took advantage of that.
Good.
And kids were excited. Corey Shefchuk, principal, told me a story. He said there was one kid who was, going into the childcare, and he said, "Mom, go. You need to go and learn. I'll be here. You go learn." And so I thought that was really cute. So thanks for organizing that. Tomorrow, as you know, is Casimir Pulaski Day, who is recognized for bringing order to the American cavalry, using modern training methods and establishing the necessity of an independent cavalry during the Revolutionary War. And, I said that like I was reading it, but, if you would like to know more about him, ask somebody else, maybe our very own Bruce Fisher.
Well, there was a state park, or is a state park in Rhode Island that I used to go to,
Yes.
Pulaski State Park.
To reflect
No.
on Pulaski.
Yeah, it's a beautiful little state park, but he was very involved in the American Revolution,
Yeah.
so.
So that's one of those things that we recognize here in the state. Youth Art Month opening is Thursday. Thursday's busy. So you have the
Really busy.
Youth Art Month opening. We also have our legislators will be at the Municipal Center
Right.
for a listening session about the state budget. It's middle school conferences
Do we
as
know what
well.
Yes.
legislators are gonna be there?
All of them. There's
Kelda,
Yeah, they were
Sheila.
listed.
there's 3 representatives in the
Yeah,
assembly, from the assembly,
Representative
and then our
Stubbs,
senator.
Royce.
Royce, yes.
I made Kelda into Coy's. Kelda Royce, Representative Ratcliffe, and
Stubbs,
Representative
Stubbs,
Udell and Stubbs.
Yeah.
Udell.
yeah.
There's 4.
Yeah, so that's pretty, McFarland's kind of unique that way,
Yeah.
that we have kind of a larger percentage of our representatives. It's
Yep.
good.
So that'll be this Thursday. And then, let's see if I said Thursday. So Saturday, I guess, the 8th, Saturday, International Women's Day. It's also, whoop, whoop, yes, thank you, well said. We also have the district solo and ensemble competition here on Saturday, so there'll be 486 performances from 15 schools. 168 of those 486 are from our very own students.
Wow.
Parking may be in,
Then,
Yeah, a little bit of a
It'll
parking
demand,
issue, yeah,
okay.
probably.
it's amazing.
That is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that thing runs like clockwork, and it's just kids everywhere, parents everywhere, teachers and instructors everywhere, judges.
I did solo and ensemble in high school, and it's petrifying.
Both my kids thought that too.
So you
That's
are welcome.
because you're shy.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Horribly
Retirees.
shy.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
The hornet, yeah. I will just do an early you're welcome to the business community for supporting your businesses on that day with that many people in the area. You're welcome, Culvers. And next week, we have a high school conference night on the 12th, the kindness retreat for 5th graders, the annual kindness retreat for 5th graders on the 13th. We're back here on the 17th. I'll share district photos as you are thinking of anything you want to share board members in recognitions.
Well, the hockey team
Yeah.
making it to
Oh, that's
state
right, because we
on
didn't have
Thursday
the
morning.
student report.
Right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Thursday morning they're playing in Middleton. I don't know who they're playing against
Tomahawk.
though. Tomahawk, okay. I'm assuming it'll be live streamed.
At 9:30.
9:30,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
small
9:30.
venue.
Yep, we
It's
have
the old
six.
Capitol Ice Arena.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yep, we have 600 tickets. And we will have a high school fan bus. And it should be very exciting, a 5 overtime victory.
They were just going to
yeah,
3-on-3.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can recall La Fala
Exciting.
having a 9 overtime game
Oh, wow.
in the state
Yeah.
tournament.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so let me see if I can hit some of these in here, and there's some sports announcements in here too. So here you have the buddy classrooms from second grade and first grade, just loving their time together, decorating cupcakes together, which makes me want cupcakes. And just love the smiles, having a good time, building community. We also here have a little dress-up day. You can see Mr. Brown here. You know, 100 days of school is always a big thing there. And it was also Kindness Week, so love the school spirit. The Girl Up Club traveled for Women in STEM Day to 3rd through 5th grade, so at Wabisa, talking about that, doing an experiment together. And so that's an annual thing that's been happening and a great tradition that continues. So thanks to all involved in organizing that and our students for continuing to do that. Our cross-age stuff is just amazing. Recognize our 5th grade scientists. You can see there, you know, the Facebook headline was like "You Matter" or something, part of their Matter unit. So doing some observations about the characteristics of different states of matter. So having fun there and making a mess, so we've got to cover those tables. Robotics, we had 2 middle school teams going to state, so they're very, I think robotics, if you ever get a chance to watch a competition, I'll have to try to remember, it'll involve probably some traveling, but they're really neat. And I can actually point out kind of, they have it set up in this back room over here. I can show you the setup for the high school team, but it's very exciting.
How long have we had that?
competition.
Couple of
Wow.
years?
Oh, it's been for a while.
Oh, the middle school one's been
Yeah,
10 years?
at least.
But the high school hasn't.
High school is it 2 now? Is this the second year, I feel like?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's
I
either
think
the
so.
second or the third. It started when I was here,
It's impressive stuff.
in the, when I was the superintendent. So I feel like this is the second year. And they have fun. It's rare that I hear such laughter coming from this direction. It's always from right there. You can see our state wrestlers that were able to go and compete. Just really, really exciting and good competition. The parade was really fun to see. One of the things that really warmed my heart was having the 2 Monona Grove competitors come over here for the drum
Parade?
line and the parade. Yeah,
The parade is it's such a great tradition.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And our heavyweight there ended up in the semis. Got 3rd.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from
Wow.
MG. 3rd in the state.
That's
so
amazing.
Very exciting. Here you see, we had assembly today to celebrate our back-to-back state champs. It was really exciting during the assembly this afternoon to hear when they go down the list of accomplishments and talk about, you know, state record here, 2nd in the state and across divisions.
Yeah.
So just really impressive, the things that were accomplished. Record-breaking times, just, I don't know, it's gonna be hard to top
And
what they
there's this-
accomplished this year.
They obviously lose some senior leadership and performers, but Boy, they've got a bunch of points back
Yeah.
as well.
They lost a
whole
lot
bunch.
last year,
Right.
you know, and they came back. So, very excited, and there were actually 2 events that they didn't have a state qualifier. So, you know, they won handily and did it without
Yeah.
anybody in 2 events.
Wow.
That's how good it was. So, really great, and a really great culture on that team. And I would say that too about our hockey team. CTE month, we're so fortunate to have, well, Penny Thompson for her amazing leadership, but then it takes those business partners in our community. So here's just a couple of them, but you got about 70 partners in our community supporting our youth apprenticeship programs. So very grateful for them. We were able to host once again the We Are Many United Against Hate Unity Youth Summit here. So
That was excellent.
yeah, it was very exciting.
Excellent.
250-ish kids here from southern Wisconsin, and just a really great event. They had a speaker and then breakouts, and the state superintendent came and spoke. And the 3 students on your left there were the MCs. They facilitated it, our students,
Wow.
as the hosts.
I was telling Craig, after that orientation session in the morning, I didn't see a single cell phone out during that morning presentation. They're just glued to Tony McAleer and the
Wow.
message that he had to convey to them.
Cool.
It
Well,
was
if-
very impressive.
If that subject matter can't hold your attention, you need some serious work.
Mhm.
And
Well,
that
that's true,
was-
but the kids will be kids also, you know, so.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but they're impressed with the
At
kids.
the end, and I was attending at the end, it was amazing. They're all lined up on the stage and they're talking about things that their school does well,
Yep.
and then things they would like to, improve upon. And the number of them talked about McFarland.
Mhm.
And I thought that was really, kudos to us. That's really
Yep.
neat.
Yeah, so thanks for our student leaders and Kelly Thompson especially, and everybody involved in that. You know, Kelly takes a lot. She's a very quiet advisor and really gives all the credit to the student, but we know that she brings the best out in them. So thanks to Kelly for her leadership there and everybody involved in hosting. We had some students go to MSOE for the Regional Science Bowl competition. They always get that picture on that chair. It's the favorite one. It's in our strategic plan brochure from previous years. It's a lot of pride. There, you can see our transition crew having a blast, helping out at the Humane Society, learning there. So celebrating another one of their amazing community outings. Spartan headquarters, gold certification for the retail operations with the Spartan headquarters. So,
What a
just-
job.
yeah,
No.
they are
What a
just
job
top
they've done.
notch.
So I was able to see the presentation
Oh,
of what
okay.
they did at State DECA. The amount of money and their profit margins are out of control.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Like, they are, I mean, they could write a blueprint to success
Yeah,
on retail operations.
isn't that cool?
Seriously.
That program spits out some remarkable learners.
Yeah,
They're deadly serious about DECA.
yeah.
It's really neat. You can feel it when you walk back into that area.
Yeah, some driven people. You might have seen the commercial, the Quick Trip commercial
Yeah.
that was filmed. Just a couple little shots. You know, we would have liked more airtime of our Performing Arts Center and our students, but kind of a neat thing. Bringing pizza to the rehearsal there, so that was fun. MRAP had the Gutter Busters Youth Bowling event, hosted that, so looks like they had a great time. Nice group there, and grateful for the police department for their partnership with that. A fun thing there. Speaking of the police department, a school resource officer appreciation day was February 15th, so you can see this picture of our amazingly talented and beloved Officer Zietsma. He is presenting on internet safety just tonight to our families. And as I mentioned before, here's our school social workers. Here, so celebrating them. Emily, who's in your upper right, had a baby on Saturday.
Oh, that's
Really?
exciting.
Yeah, so congratulations
What'd
to
she
her.
have?
Margaret. Yes, I can't remember the middle name, but Margaret's the first name, I remember that.
I think,
Yay.
So, healthy baby girl.
Olivia? Is that, Olivera?
Olivia.
Special ed. Yeah, I can't think of her first name now. But she's,
Danielle Olivas?
yes. Mhm.
Mhm.
I think she's pregnant as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You aware?
I'm aware, yes, we have definitely some maternity leaves coming up and paternity leaves as well.
Mhm.
coming
Something in
up,
the water.
So, yep, several people. All right, so that concludes my report. What do you guys have to share?
I have just one thing that I attended that I thought was impactful, and that was Tom Farley's event in the PAC.
Yeah.
You know, talked about his family history and kind of talked about addiction and grief and how addiction affects almost every family in some way, somehow. So that was very interesting as well, I thought, and that was well attended also.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Craig. I mean, in some ways, there was a kind of a, I almost think he had given his message, and he didn't quite know how to end it in some ways. But I thought our students were so well behaved, and they enjoyed the interactive parts, and I think in the end, it worked out well.
I did
I was
too.
just really happy.
Yep, I do too.
Yeah.
Anything else? Moving on. Our first action item is action on second reading and adoption of policies 2264, non-discrimination on the basis of sex in education programs or activities, and 2266, non-discrimination on the basis of sex in education programs or activities. The board's policy and grievance procedures for responding to sexual harassment alleged to have occurred prior to 8/1/2024. I would look for a motion to approve.
I move to approve the second reading and adoption of policy 2264, non-discrimination on the basis of sex in education programs or activities, and policy 2266, non-discrimination on the basis of sex in education programs or activities.
Beautiful.
I'll
Do I have a
second.
second? Tom? Any discussion?
I'll just kind of remind you and the listeners, I know I said this last time, but just in case someone's just tuning in now, where this comes from. The Biden administration had issued updated guidance on the Title IX enforcement, and that was ruled by a court to be unenforceable. And so what we had done was, once we had gotten that guidance, we, and all the districts, had to develop a policy to cover kind of two policies. Our old policy, which was the previous guidance, that covered any incident prior to August 1st. And the new policy we adopted, you adopted, was for any incidents that happened after August 1st of 2024. So what you would be doing if you vote to approve these is you're basically rescinding the policies for after 2024 that you just adopted and saying, we're just going back to how it was before. So the previous Title IX policies, which we've had for many,
Long time.
many years.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously, 4-0. Next is action on application for girls lacrosse WIAA cooperative team renewal. Could I have a motion to approve?
Sure, I'll make a motion to move to approve the WIAA Girls Lacrosse cooperative team sportsmanship agreement as recommended by administration.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I can second that.
Bruce, discussion?
Yeah, the only thing I felt, both girls and boys, is that, you know, the preponderance of athletes were all from Oregon.
Yeah.
And I just kind of, is that typical, or it seemed to me more evenly kind of split up?
I think that's kind of been
Is it? Yeah. I mean,
how
it's
it's
like,
been. We've always
they were
had a
like
couple.
80% of all the athletes, it seemed to me, or more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and that's a good way, I guess, for the schools that can't really field
Well,
a team.
you know, it gives
Yeah.
kind of one-off kids an opportunity
Yeah.
to participate in a sport that we don't
Right,
sponsor here.
right.
We've done several, that I can recall, co-ops for just one or maybe two
Yeah.
kids going to a school that has the program. And we've done it in gymnastics and we've done it in wrestling.
Yeah, we did it in wrestling, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a great, the more opportunities, the better, as far as I
I
can
agree.
see it. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0, unanimous. Next is action on application for boys lacrosse WIAA cooperative team renewal. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the WIAA Boys Lacrosse Cooperative Team Sponsorship Agreement as recommended by administration.
Thank you, Chapman. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tom.
Gotta get a little flair in there.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0, unanimous. Okay. Action on recommended WEVA, Destination Career Academy and Insight School of Wisconsin. Wisconsin Statute 118.408G, student transfers to resident districts. At this time, WEVA, Destinations Career Academy, and Insight School of Wisconsin are requesting approval of recommended student transfers back to their resident districts due to lack of engagement. Could I have a motion to approve, please?
Sure, I move to approve the WIVA, Destinations Career Academy and Insight School of Wisconsin, recommended student transfers back to their resident districts due to the lack of engagement.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I can second.
Thank you, Megan. Discussion?
Of course, yeah. Again, yeah, just take a look at the statistics. Things are improving nicely, though. Yeah, when we began a few years ago to where we are now, particularly over the past 2 or 3 years. But again, there's 2 children in kindergarten, 1 child in 4th grade, 2 pre-adolescents in 6th grade, and 4 in 7th grade. I mean, these are young kids. Yeah. How can we throw them some type of life preserver? And as we were talking about earlier, we're talking about the mentor program up at the middle school. It's adult to student. But I was wondering, I wonder if some of these students, especially the high school students, had peer-to-peer mentors, if that would anyway impact their success.
Do you mean like high school to high school?
Yes,
Or, okay.
yep. High school, middle school. So
Tom-
I'll talk to the WEVA board about that.
Sorry. I was just gonna say, I thought about it too, and you just can't help with some of the younger grades, wondering if in some ways virtual school just doesn't really fit for what they're looking for, perhaps. They thought it would be something, and it just wasn't what they were looking for.
They
So-
may very well not have anticipated
Yeah.
the amount of parental
Yeah.
input.
There's that,
To thrive in a virtual setting,
yeah.
it requires, hour or hours per day of your engagement along with your child. So that's a big commitment.
Yeah,
I would think previously that was probably very accurate. With the change in their onboarding strategies that they now have, I mean, it's pretty stringent.
Is it?
Parents know upfront what type of time commitment is required.
Well,
And if we have a staff don't feel like they can do that, they are not even, enrolled in WEVA. So these are sort of the
Positive changes.
extenuating circumstances.
well, there was a time within the last 10 years that they couldn't turn anyone away. And I don't know if they virtually could not turn anybody away, or It was just real easy to get.
Mhm.
And that just created super low test scores and.
Well, and they-
there-
Yeah,
Yeah, and they still can't. I mean, if someone applies for open enrollment for WEVA, they do need to accept them, but this is for people, they've been accepted, and then they're just not participating. But I think there's probably a difference between, kind of what Bruce is saying, what I'm hearing Craig say, is part of it is, maybe the virtual, they thought they would learn well virtually, and they didn't. I think what I see, this is my 2 cents, is I wish them people would withdraw
Exactly.
versus
Let it
them
get to
having
this
to go
point.
through it. Like, if you figure, and it's
No.
like, oh, wait, this isn't working, say, we're gonna go back to our resident district. We're gonna choose to go back to our resident, which they can do. Instead of, here's the letter, you're not engaging, you need to engage. Schedule a meeting that they don't attend, because you can see it. I think I just closed out. but
Oh, yeah.
I
It
think
shows,
there's
yeah.
2 of them that attended,
Yes,
parents
there were
that
2
attended.
yeses. Yeah.
I think that's where my frustration is.
That's a
One of
good-
my frustrations.
But that's a good point.
I think
That's a
you're
very good
absolutely
point.
right. Yeah, I think, what was I gonna- but my question is, how many of these students, these 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 students, how many of them will actually re-enroll in their home district?
Right.
Well, that's what,
We don't know,
yeah.
They probably left the home district because they didn't feel that was a good fit for them. And then they come to
Right.
virtual, and that might not be a good fit for them either. Where do they go? There has to be another option out there.
Is their home
We just haven't found
district,
it.
is their home district obligated to take them back?
They have to take them back if they re-enroll.
Yes.
But they're not automatically enrolled. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the parent has to take action to re-enroll them, which I think we would, well, I shouldn't speak for you. I would prefer that they are automatically enrolled back in their home district, and that attendance starts counting in their home district, if that makes sense. But that's
wise.
not, despite lobbying efforts, that
It's
hasn't been
wise.
acted upon.
Anything else? In that case, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously 4-0, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Fisher's gonna do it tonight.
Do it.
All right.
Hey, I'm more than happy to share the
Carry on that
responsibility.
tradition.
Please do.
Do I have a second?
I will second it.
Chapman seconds it. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Megan Fessler, feel better. See you in a couple weeks.
Yes.
And we are adjourned at 7:57.